I'm going to walk you through step by step how to install an Android Tesla style radio. Moment of truth. Look at that. Oh man, that is so cool. Let's go. We got a package in the mail, and I've been wanting to install one of these for quite some time, so let's check it out. Pow! Hopefully this thing's well packed. Don't forget, boys and girls, to unplug your battery. Well, she's definitely well packed. Let's see what else we got here. Got some instructions. Take it, this is a little frame that it mounts into. Not bad when it's plastic. What can you expect, but it's pretty sturdy for the most part. Got our connections here. Looks pretty straightforward. I think I'll get a little cheap backup camera to go with it. Got all this stuff going on. Let's take a look at the main unit. See how big this thing is. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's a decent size. Imagine it mounts like this. Got a little microphone, I guess a reset port. Looks pretty cool. Not sure what the hell this is, but Android car radio. All right, let's install this bad boy. The radio from the factory works okay, but let's update our radio and bring it into the 21st century. First thing I'm going to do is disconnect the negative side of the battery. And I'm going to use a handful of tools most everybody will have in their toolbox at home. I have a manual transmission. You may have an automatic, so it'll just be slightly different. And I just wrapped a little bit of electrical tape around my screwdrivers just to keep from marring things up. So we'll take the little screwdriver here, and I'm just going to pry up the shift boot here. We'll just kind of shove that out the way, and then we're going to remove this bottom piece. We're just going to pop the bottom up, and then we'll pull it towards us. And my screwdriver's here a little bit. Get out there, you little. There we go. Now we can shove this out the way. With an automatic, you're gonna have a connection here. You might want to disconnect it, or you can leave it. Just kind of shove it out your way. Since I got a manual, I'm just going to push this over to the side. Now we're going to remove the vent piece here. Let's try our little screwdriver first. There we go. Just a little bit of prying. This thing will just slide right out like so. Here are the three main tabs that's kind of holding this thing in, along with these tabs up here towards the top of the vent. We'll set that aside. Then we got a couple of little 7mm bolts that we need to remove. That way we can get this little tray out. We'll just pull that out, toss our screws in there, keep things organized. Then we have 4 more bolts here that we'll remove to pull this piece out. So we've got a couple bolts back here that we need to access. And these things are barely even snug in there. So when you go back to put it together, you don't need to really crank on it. Now we just need to pry this guy out. Just kind of take your screwdriver, twist it in there, and we'll just pull this back. Now we got a couple bolts here for this control panel. We'll just go ahead and we'll remove those. Man, look at that. It don't even really require the wrench. And you just want to pop this guy out, kind of pull this cable back a little bit. There's this little blue tab here. We just need to lift that up. So we'll take our small screwdriver. We'll just pry it up a little bit, just wiggle it. We'll take our thumb, we'll press that, kind of wiggle this thing out. There we go. So now our little interface is out. Then we got a couple little bolts here that we need to remove. We'll take those, we'll just set those up there. And then there's a couple tabs back here that you can press in and just pull this whole piece out. There we go. We got the little plastic bezel. I broke this some time ago on accident, but here's the back of the display. It's just got a little tab right here. So we'll squeeze that in, just pull that out. There's our display. We'll toss all this crap on eBay and get some of our money back. Last but not least, we need to remove the stereo unit, the CD player. We just got 4 bolts. Now we can grab this dude, slide it out. We'll push this back a little bit, turn this up. Turn down for what? In which we'll just take our thumb, press in there, pull that out. Same thing for this side. You can see it's just this tiny little tab. Take your thumb, press it in, pull up and out. Last but certainly not least, we've got this little connection here. You can kind of see how there is this little tab right there. So we need to push that in and roll this back and it will push itself out. So we'll take our screwdriver, pop that loose. We'll just roll this back, which will pull itself out. And now our radio unit is out. Now we'll take our head unit and go ahead and install it. Our Tesla touch radio wave of the future thingamabob. Before we go tossing this thing in the car, let's sort some of this stuff out on the workbench. Seems simple enough. We'll plug this in, which is the harness that goes to our car radio. Just want to make sure that's nice and seated. Then we've got our little GPS here. I'll just screw that in right here. I'm gonna leave that semi-loose for now and figure out where I want that. We got ourselves a little USB cable, plug that in, figure out where we want to situate that. And it will be very hard to mix this stuff up because none of them are the same prong counts whatsoever. For our USB connection, you can see that there's 4, and then we got ourselves a little plug for it with 4 prongs there. So we'll just plug it into there. Knock this guy in, squeeze the little tab so it sits in there. Set that aside. You do have an optional connection here for Android style phones, but we got an iPhone, so we're not going to need that. We got our antenna. Push that right on in. Then we've got this little speaker for door chimes, stuff like that. That's something I do want. We'll find a clever place to put that. And in this harness, here's this little connector right here. So we'll just plug that together. Snaps in like I said. Set that aside. At some point, I do plan on installing a rear view camera, but we'll just go ahead and plug this in for now, just so we don't lose it.
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
We'll toss in our USB connection. That will go in this slot right over here. Again, pretty easy to correlate where these things go because they're all different pin counts. Click that in. Last but not least, we have this for all kinds of auxiliaries for audio. We got video, subwoofer, video out. We've got an amp signal to turn on an amplifier, a microphone. Not sure what the hell I need a microphone for, but we'll toss this in just in case down the road, and so we don't lose this. Press our little tab in, that guy all the way down. We've got this key 1 and key 2. I'm not exactly sure what those are for, but I'm just going to tape those ends off because I don't really plan on using it. And then we're going to take this last connector here and we are going to plug that in right over here. Because I imagine this is the last thing that needs to go in there. Nothing else will plug into this slot. All right, we got that all situated. Good enough. Now we've got a tiny little bag of screws here in which we'll attach our new radio to that little plate over there, the mounting plate. Take our plastic off. I'll use my girlfriend's t-shirt, make sure I don't scratch this thing up, and we'll just rest it right in there. Now it looks like we have a screw here that we're going to attach. One right here because you can see this pole coming up, so it would be this top one. We've got another here, and then the same thing just kind of mirrored on this other side. The rest of these, I don't really know what the heck they're for. Maybe some sort of other accessory, but we're gonna attach those 6 screws and then we'll toss it in the car. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to take this foam that this thing came in. I'm going to wrap this up in the foam and this as well, because there's nothing more annoying than crap rattling inside your car that you can't do anything about. Well, let's do something about it right now. We'll just take this foam and wrap it around this guy, and we'll just hit it with a little bit of electrical tape. Bada bing, bada boom. Better keep crap from rattling behind the dash. All right, let's go ahead and toss this in the car. Let's take this and we'll start hooking things up. Still got my girlfriend's t-shirt here protecting things. First order of business is we're going to hook this up. Got this little indent here. which will slide this into this connection. And we'll just close her up, snap her in, done deal. Then we've got this guy right here. We'll plug our display in. Again, we got our GPS a little loose for now. We'll kind of figure out where we want that, along with our USB. And we've got our antenna. We're gonna plug into the black one right here. Snap that together. Make sure we're not missing anything else. USB connector, stupid ding thing. Not sure what the hell the microphone thing's for, just in case you want to MC in your car, I don't know. And then we've got our GPS, and we'll figure out where to toss this stuff here in a second. Let's see what we got as far as room behind everything. Toss this out the way, and we'll figure out where the heck we want all this stuff. I know you go in there. Oh, there you go. So you're gonna tuck up in there. Seems a little snug, like we're pressing on something. Just have to tuck some of this stuff into these cavities. I don't want to force anything in there. Kind of test fit it. We're almost there. I think I might snap this off just so I can shove this in this cavity here. Seems like it's giving me a little bit of issue or troubles. We'll just cut this dumb little zip tie out. You don't have to do this. I imagine you can probably get away without doing this. Ah, I got a finger. That'll start bleeding in a second. Always some blood involved in doing car stuff. All right, we got her seated. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't putting a bunch of pressure on crap and breaking things. So what we'll do is we'll just toss in a couple bolts here, and then we'll test it out before we completely toss everything together. Just hand tie it like it came out. All right, moment of truth. Negative terminal is back on. Look at that. Oh, well, there's a little beep thing. Oh man, that is so cool. Dang, that is tight. Woo-wee. Holy crap. How do I get back home? Oh, it's telling me the doors are open. All right, man, I'm excited about this. Let's go ahead. Yeah, control AC, all that stuff. Let's go ahead and we'll finish putting this thing back together. Dude. All right, let's test a handful of things just to make sure I'm not tripping. This isn't a station I normally listen to, but all right, we're able to turn it up and down. Let's see if we can. All right, we got mute, able to make calls. All right, we've got everything hooked up properly. Let's go ahead and finish the install. All right, so I'm gonna pull this thing out just for a moment. I do have my GPS set up right there, just kind of out of my vision. However, I'm going to unplug this, route it through here so it's out of the way. So let's pull this thing out. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Take my girlfriend's t-shirt, disconnect the GPS, and we'll run it through this cavity right here. See if that gets us out of the way of our trim. Tuck that back here, down and just kind of out of the way. We'll bundle this back up, give ourselves a little bit of slack, use the zip tie that they gave us, tuck it back here with the rest of the stuff, just hook it back up to its connection, and then we'll snug it down. All right, we've got our chime just kind of set over here out of the way. I think that'll be fine. If I have to go back and screw the thing in, not a big deal, but let's go ahead and mount this thing back in. We'll figure out where to put this in a second. I think I kind of want it in that little bin over here. Kind of looks like an ashtray. Just as a reference, we have the GPS pushed up underneath this trim and in between here, and I use my screwdriver just to kind of gently press the wire back into this crevice here. Tucked it up under here, so that way I don't have to sit there and look at a wire hanging out. And now, fingers crossed, this little wire is not going to get in the way. And we'll be sure to line up these tabs here into these 4 holes, which we'll tuck those in from the top. Snap those in. There we go. Now we're just tossing these 4 bolts back to hold in this control panel, and all this stuff just needs to be hand tight. Just snug it up until it stops. Now we have this tray that needs to go in. Let's see if we can sort this out in a way in which it's not going to get in the way of our shifter. Put our 2 little bolts back in. That one I'm going to do fingertip tight so we don't crush this little wire here. And then last but not least, we'll put this back on. pull this up and out of the way. Yep, seems fine to me. I mean, it's a little pinched, but I don't think it's gonna hurt anything. We'll toss our boot back in. Oh man, that looks awesome. Nice clean fit. We've got our GPS tucked out of the way. You can hardly even tell it's there. We've got our little USB extension here, which we can just tuck away there, plug into it. You will be left with 4 bolts from all the other gadgets. Woo, man, that looks dope. All right, let's turn it on and we'll play with it just a little bit. We can still hear the beep nicely. Look at that. Okay, so we just do a long hold. Can we drag this? Oh, we can drag it. Woo! The navigation is on point, knows where we're at. This is awesome. I'm gonna have fun playing around with this. It knows the doors are open or closed. We've got the one door open over there. My only quarrel with this whole thing is the kilometers there. Hop in the passenger side and look at it. A pilot wants to see. Check this out, look at it. You better get off my door. So there you go, it is all installed. I imagine a lot of you guys and gals know how to change the settings on an Android. And really the biggest thing I wanted to change was just the car icon. Just do a long press and there you have it. Find your car and select it. For me personally, one of the biggest things about this radio install is being able to have GPS right there on a larger screen. So that way I'm not just constantly looking at a phone, making things a little safer and just making it easier to get to destination. If you'd like to see a video on how to install a backup camera, let me know down in the comments. Until next time guys, peace out with your pizza.